Hello everyone and welcome to part 3 of a Django and GraphQL volleyball app. In this video we'll be creating Django models. As you can see in this picture, I prepared how I see it at the moment. It's pretty straightforward. So I think we'll start with creating league models, then season, and then probably team, season, and the others. I think I'll be doing all of them in one app, but different model files. We could probably break it down into separate apps, but for this tutorial I think it's fine to keep it all in one app. So let's get started. I also on the GitLab and GitHub I prepared some to-do list. So first we'll be doing Django models, then taking care of GraphQL with Graphene, and these two is I'm still thinking how to make them and if I should do it. So for this video we'll also be installing this one. This is a django-extensions library that allows us to do more stuff and gives us more fields and other cool stuff to Django. Okay, so I think we can just start. So let's open this. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is actually create an app. So let's do this. We can create a Python package apps, and maybe let's create a new branch. Which one was it? Let me have a look. That one in here will be issue number 1, I guess. Yep. Okay. So let's call the branch new branch. It's #1 Django models, maybe like that. Okay, so now we have apps folder, and probably next thing is actually create an app. So what we can do is, if we're in here, we can do docker compose run -- remove, then I think it's called app in docker compose file, app, yep. And then we do bash. Let's wait a bit. Okay, so we're in, and now what we can do is we can cd to apps and do Django admin start app, and let's call it, I don't know, league. Okay, as you can see our app is created. Let's keep it open for a while and go straight to the files. So this is basic app structure. I think for now we don't need tests. Let's get rid of it. Views, I think no need for now. Models, I'll remove it because we'll be dividing that into separate model files, and let's keep them. Okay, so now let's create models package, and let's go back to our models. Okay, so let's start with a league. Probably we need name, owner, and slug. And the thing I wanted to mention is, as you can see, we want to install Django extensions, and this is because it gives us some cool features. I think it's model extensions. When let me find, it's always timestamp. model, I guess. Yep. As you can see here, we can create a model which will have created and modified on it, but without us having to explicitly type these two fields. So I definitely want that. And the other one was auto slug. Let me find it. Probably a field extension. Yep, auto slug field. So what we want to do is we'll make slugs unique, but we want, so let's say if you create league named league 1 and then someone else creates a league with the same name, they won't be allowed to, because slugs will have to be unique. So what we want to do is every time Django detects there's more than one slug with the same name, it will try to add 0, 1, 2 in the end, so they always stay unique. So yeah, so let's do it. Usually you go in here and you just do pip install Django extensions. So we just do it here. Okay, and let's see what version it is. Django extensions 1 to 4. So now we can put it in our requirements. Django extensions. Let's leave it as that, 1 to 4. And the next thing we need to do is actually quit and do docker compose build. So we're doing this because we're adding a new library. So we need to refresh our environment. So while it's doing this, let's start doing our models. So first model will be league, and do it from Django DB import models, and let's call our class league. Now usually we do models.model and start adding fields like ID and other ones, but what we want to do instead is we actually want to use this timestamp. It's still bleeding, should be ready soon. So instead we want to have this timestamp field. So that means we cannot use models. Instead we need to import these from Django extensions, and then we can add it as a parent class. So but first thing we need to do is with PyCharm, which is a bit annoying that it doesn't see the changes to the environment. So what I have to do is close it and reopen and wait a bit until it's updated, and then okay, so I will pause it and back to you when it's done. Okay, I'm back, everything is back to normal. So now we have everything installed and we can get rid of this, and now we need to import our timestamp model. So we do from Django extensions .db.models import, and now we can see a lot of new stuff in here, but we're interested in timestamp model, and now we just need to pass it here, timestamp model, and now we can start adding our fields. So let's see, we need name, owner, and slug. So let's start with name. Name will be, and actually we still need Django from Django DB import models, and this is because we need char field, color field. So we need models dot color field, and let's make it max length of 60. 60 is fine. Okay. Let's make it happy with pep8. Then we need an owner and a slug. So let's start with slug. So slug will be auto slug field. So let's keep it auto slug field, and let's see how it works. So we do auto slug field, and then what we want to do is let's find fields, which is always hard, it's a bit chaotic, that talks. So we need auto slug field, and we want to populate from something. So in our case, we want to populate from name, because slug will be based on name. So let's do this. Populate from, and let's see if we can do, it's a list. We need to pass a list. Which field or fields? Okay, let's pass a list just to make sure it will work. We did a name only. And then we need owner. And now there is it's a bit tricky, because we want to refer to a user model, but in Django you can have the built-in Django user model, or you can create your own custom one, and this is a bit tricky because you never know which model is used. So usually what you do, I never remember that, you go to Django foreign key user, and just find that, yeah, so usually we could do this, but we don't want to. Instead what we want to do is let's find it, settings of user model. This is what you want, and this will point to currently used model, which means it can be Django built-in or a custom model, doesn't matter. So what we want to do is we want to do from Django conf, we want to import settings, and then we want to do models foreign key, and as you saw in here, we need to pass settings and of user model. Oops, sorry. And that should be enough. So now we have our first model. So let's see if that works. So what we can do in here is, let's clear this. Let's go to bash and do manage py. Is it check? No issues. So now what we need to do is we have to register our app. Otherwise Django won't see our models. That's why it's not complaining about anything. And parameter on delete on field. So we need to do on delete. That means every time you return a user, every time you return a user, it will try to remove users or leagues, or maybe you want to keep them or you don't want to allow to it. So I think you can see exactly what options do we have. Django foreign key on delete options. I think we can quickly have a look. Yeah, as you can see, you can go to docs, which is pretty nice, and you can see all the options. And I think we want to do protect, so we won't allow to remove users with leagues. So first you need to remove their leagues before removing the user. So what to do is models.protect. It's not a function. Okay, so let's go back to our bashes. Okay, so let's now do let's register our app. So we can go to settings and we want to do apps league. That will tell Django that you should start reading that package and read models and everything. So now what we can do is actually .manage py make migrations. Let's see if you have any errors. No changes detected. That's strange. Let's have a look. Why? Probably because we don't import it in here. So from league import league, and this is because how Python works. So in init we have to provide our models, because Django will refer to models and init will be our models entry point. So let's try now. Yep, there you go. We have a model league, and let's try to migrate to see if it's working. Migrate. Boom. All done. Everything should be fine now. And what we can do now is probably, as you can see, you can have a look at your migrations, what's being created. But so in our admin, I think we can just quickly register our app, or actually our models for admin. So let's do class a league admin. That will do. Let's do nothing, but what I want to do is use admin.register, and we want to pass our league model. So what we want to do is from models league, we want to import our league model. That should tell Django to register our model, league model, using this class. And for now this class does nothing. It's just to see if that works. So let's docker compose app, and yes, this is because I created a new one. And okay, let's do to localhost 8000. Everything is fine, and let's go to admin. I think it was Rob. My secret password. Okay. Yep, there you go. We have a league. So now let's see how it works. So we have a name and owner, but we don't see the rest of the fields. I was expecting it to actually appear in here, but I think we can have a look later. Just let me quickly check why that doesn't work. Timestamp model. Yeah, I think we can have a look at that later. Just make sure it works. So created and modified. They're all in here. probably we could define our fields in admin, like list display, and we could pass a list like name and owner, maybe what was the field name, just to make sure. Created. Let's make created. Oops, it's owner. Let's try to make one quickly. Name my league and save. My league, owner, and created. As you can see, it's there. And so probably we can just play around with it. But yeah, as you can see, everything is working fine so far. So let's carry on with our models and go to the next one, which is season. So let's create a new file, Python file, season, and maybe just quickly copy that over to the new file. So we need models, settings, I think we don't need for now, auto slug, and we need them both. So let's do season, capital S. We need a reference to league, and we need name and slug. So let's do name will be models.car field, and let's make the same max length 60. Max length equals to 60, and probably slug, we just want to copy that because it will be basically the same. I want to populate from name. Okay, and now we also need a league. So we want to do league equals models foreign key, and what we could do is we could either import from league import league. So what we could do is we could either pass class reference, or what we could do is use I think it will be league.league, I guess. Let's see if that works. And it's the same question they ask about the on delete. So let's see what other options do we have. We have cascade delete. So when we delete a league, it will delete all the seasons. We could probably do that, or it's actually up to you how you deal with on delete. But let's do models.cascade for this one, and I think that's enough. Let's go back to our bash and do manage py and make migrations. Let's see if that works. Let me spell that. It's fine. Oh yeah, make migrations. Manage py, just to make boom, and no changes. And it's the same thing that you need to import your model in init. Let's try now. Okay, and then let's migrate. All good. And now maybe let's quickly, don't need for now, just pass. We'll get to models later, to admin later. Just let's quickly register that. Okay, so maybe what I can do is I can share between two. Let's make it bigger. Okay, so we can. Okay, so let's Docker compose. We can keep both up and running. Docker compose app, that should be working now. It's actually working and running fine. Let's see. And we have our season. So if we want to add it now, as you can see, we can name it our season. Let's save it. But can you already see what's going on? It's season object 1, which is a bit strange, right? And the same in here, you have league object 1. And this is because we don't define how we want to represent our model objects or objects in Django. This is pretty simple fix. We just need to go to each model and just need to define $true. And so what it does is every time we refer directly to the model, it will try to it will call this method and try to represent the model in a non default way. So I guess what we want to do is we just want to show the name of the league. So it's self.name. That will cause our Django code to actually run every time you refer to league and you don't request for the field. Instead, you want to just print league object. It will actually call string and then that will return self name. So if you save that and go back in here and fresh, there you go, my league. So now if you go to seasons, you'll see my league. So let's do the same for season. Just copy that because it's basically the same thing. Okay. And now if you go to seasons, you can see our season is here. Okay, so let's see what else we need to do. I think what we need to do now is just create a team. As usually, let's create a team file, maybe from team. Let's import team and let's leave it as that for now. It will error, but not for long. And now let's copy it over and see exactly what fields we need. So team needs name, slug, location. I'll have a note in here which tells geo field. So for now I'll just make it as a text field, and in one of the future episodes I'll show you how we can actually make it a geo field. So we have a nice map shown and we can actually see coordinates and everything. So we can display on map or whatever you want to do with this, but for now it will be just a text field. Okay, so let's carry on. This will be a team timestamp, and team doesn't require any foreign keys, so we can get rid of this. We need a name and slug and location, and for now location will be a location will be text field. Is it required? Let's keep it required. So every team has to have something passed as location, and we probably want to show the name as well. Let's save it. It's already imported here. Let's register that to our admin as well. League. So this will be team. Oops. Team, and we need team. Okay, now we need to make migration and migrate. Okay, everything should be up and running now. Let's have a look. Teams, there we go. We can create a new team, name my team, and location is somewhere. Let's save, and my team, there you go. So maybe I'll quickly explain why we have team in season and team, and the same with players. So when you have a league, and in each season there is the team can be represented as the same team but with different name, for example. So they change the sponsors or something, and basically that's why we want to keep it as that. So the team itself, the main team object is the basic information about the team that doesn't change, like location, slug, and name. So this is to represent the main team, and then every time you create a new season, that team might change, actually, for example by changing the sponsor or something. So this is why we want to have them both in here. And the same with players. So you can have like the main player object, which represents a player as a person, which has like first name, last name, date of birth, height, weight, and other params you can imagine and put in here. But then it's the same thing every season, or actually not in, or like it might be like a few times in season, player can change his team. So that's why we want to keep track of all these changes. So let's say in current season the player started in team A, but then was bought by team B, and now he's a team B player. So by doing this we can actually keep track of all these changes, and in future maybe you want to have some statistics about how many points he scored in one team, not another, or in a season. And by doing like this, so you can actually go to team ID, and from team ID you can go to season, and with all these models chained, you can actually do pretty much everything you want with stats. So yep, let's carry on with models, I guess. And match is basically the match. So we have a host and guest, which are teams in current season in a league. You have when they played and the score. I simplified it a lot, so score can be one of 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, so a few choices. So we'll get there soon. So let's create a team in season now. So let's go to our season models. We could keep one file per class, but for now I think it's fine to have more. So actually it's not season, it should be team instead. So let's go to team and create team season. I guess that's fine. And now what we need to do is do the same thing, timestamp model, and let's go back to our field. So we want to have a foreign key to team, name, and slug. So name and slug we can copy over, name and slug, same thing. And we want to have a season, or actually So actually we want to have a team in season, so we need a team and season. So actually we need two. I just forgot to add one. Yep. So let's add season foreign key first. Models dot foreign key, and we want to have a league season relation, and on delete we just want to cascade, I guess. Doesn't matter for us. And on delete we want models dot cascade, and we also need team. So let's add team first. So team will be models, also foreign key, but this time we just need to pass team, and on delete same thing. So models dot cascade. Let's save it and add our team season into our Django. So we can import. Basically what we need to do is just copy that over to here and here. Not worrying about the admin now. Okay, so let's make migrations now and migrate, and everything should be up and running. So let's go to home, team seasons, and as you can see Django adds this S to make it plural. We'll get there when we'll be dealing with admin, so for now it's enough. So okay, so now as you can see, we can add my team belonging to our season, and the name in that season would be season name 1, and we can save. It's the same thing, I forgot. So let's quickly do this. Okay, so now, but maybe the same team can have different name in next season. So what we want to do is my team, and as you can see we can add the new season. Let's pull it up with the same league, and let's call it season 2, and this will be name in season 2. Just to show you that everything works fine, what we can do is we can do list display and pass a name and a foreign key to or actually just team should be enough. Let's see, and let's refresh. Yep, as you can see that team belongs to different it has different names. So maybe let's show season as well, so we have everything visible. Yeah, so the same team can have different names in different seasons, but everything points to the same team, which will be useful soon. Okay, so now let's create player and player in team season. So it's basically the same thing. We need to create a new Python file and call it player, and copy pasta again. Okay, player. Now let's see what fields we need. Maybe I could keep it a bit. Okay, like that, it's okay. So now let's see. So we want to have a first name, and that will be a models car field with max length of 60. Let's keep. Then the middle name, I guess that may be optional. So let's make it model also a car field, and max length of 60, and it can be blank true. Yep, blank true. So it's a bit tricky because you have blank and null. So blank means you can create a model, you can create an object of that model and pass a blank value as middle name. That basically means you can create a empty file, which means it's not required. And when you have null, it's useful for dates or integers, but not for strings. So for now we just keep blank true. And now last name, we want to do models job field, car field, job field, and max length of 60 as well. Then we want to have slug, which I removed, of course. Slug, but in this case we don't want to populate from name, right? And this is because we don't have name. Instead we could you could create a method like get full name and then call it, or whatever they allow in here. So let's quickly do file extensions, go there and see how to slug we can populate from fields. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually pass model method as well. But I think what we want to do is simply define first name and last name. So I guess what it's going to do is just take first name, last name and slugify it, and yeah, that's it. And I think we don't need middle name, so we have slug, and now we want to have height, and this will be height can we create float or decimal. Let's see what the difference is actually. Let's quickly a float field. I think float is enough, so we can keep it in centimeters. And let's do decimal. Not here. Okay, so let's make it float field. So let's make it as a help text in centimeters. Okay, now weight, it's basically the same. Models, float field, and we want to tell users that this needs to be in kilograms, I guess. And now the last thing we need, date of birth. And our date of birth will be date field, and that's it. And now, as you can see, we cannot just return name as well. So what we can do in here is we can actually make an f string, and what we want to return is self first name, self last name. Probably you could just create a new method, get full name or something, and pass it in here and in here, but for now it's fine. We shouldn't be duplicating code, but okay. So now let's do the same for player in our admin. Let's make one. Player. We want to import player, and make it player here, player here. We want to pass and we want to player and player. And you know what to do now. We want to do migrations first. Migrate, and everything should be still working. So let's see. If you go to home, we have our players, and let's see what we can do in here. As you can see, first that means it's not required. So if you try to save, it will basically tell you which is required. So let's make a John Smith. Height is in centimeters, so let's make it like 198. Weight could be like kilograms, they say in here, so maybe 91. And date of birth, as you can see, you can actually use a simple tool, but let's make it 1998. This will be month, so I don't know, let's make it April 12th. And let's save it. Yep, John Smith, as you can see. So let's see if that works. 198,21. Yep, everything is fine. And now let's move it right a bit. We want to create a player in team in season, which means you can basically make a transfer. So let's go to player and make a new class, player team in season. So maybe player in team should be okay. Timestamp model, and we need basically every time we create the new object, we'll have created and modified, which means we can actually assume that when this object was created, that's the same date as when player was transferred or something. You can probably extend that, but for now we need just team in season and player. So let's make a player reference first. So it's models.foreign key, and what we need is player, and on delete we want to do cascade delete, I guess. And then we need a team that will be a models foreign key 2 league. Let's see, team season. Let's see if that works. I don't know why it's not highlighting that. And the same thing on delete, you just want to do cascade. Okay, let's maybe let's register that in here, player in team, and let's add it to our admin. Do the same thing, player in team, and let's quickly add it here. Player in team. Maybe let's show some more information. So what we want to do is we want to show, let's say, player and which team. I think it's okay for now. Okay, so we have saved this. Now we need a migration. Let's migrate, and let's go back to our admin. Player in teams, actually it should be in team, but that's because of Django. And okay, so we have one player in our DB, but we could have more. If you click on that plus, you can add the new one, but let's make this for now and save. Okay, so as you can see, it shows the player and which season is assigned to. So I think we just need a match now. Okay, so let's add a match model, the same. Start with a new file, match, and do the same thing as we did before. Let's just copy that. Okay, let's make the match, and so we can see. So host ID and guest ID, these are teams in season, basically. So let's do host, and this will be a foreign key to our league, and this will be season. Nope, this will be team season. I don't know why it's not highlighting that. Okay, team season on delete, and now let's make protect. Let's copy that because it's basically the same, but this one is named guest. Okay, so we have these now date time, which means when the match starts. So maybe match date, let's call it. Let's make it models and date time field, and then score. But score, there are many different ways you can do it, but I think what we could do in here is we could use choices on the field. So if you go to docs, you can see choices on fields. So you can define a list of choices. The first element is what's being added to your DB, and the second one is what user sees, or it's the representation of DB value. You could also, the good idea is to actually make it like that. So you define your all your choices, so then you can refer to them. But for now, I think what we can do is we can just do this very simple. It's a tuple of tuples passed as choices to the model field. So what we want to do is let's make it positive small integer field, I guess, and choices would be defined above. So maybe let's call it score choices, and the first, as you see, it's positive small integer field, which means these must be integers. So 1, that will be 3 0. Maybe let's get rid of these and duplicate. So this will be 3 1, 3 2, and 0 3, 1 3, 2 3. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 3 1 3 2, and this would be I don't know, that could be 2 3, this will be 1 3, and this will be 0 3. And then let's pass it in here. Not sure if that's everything. Let's see if we're not missing something on that field. Everything is required. We need to import it to our models. So this will be from match import match, and now we go to admin and quickly do the same. Oops, indentation wrong. Match. This will be match as well, and we need to import from models match, import match. And now boring stuff, make migrations. Oh, there you go. We need to add a related name argument. And this is some Django internal stuff I don't want to go deep into. So what we can do is we can just, if you go to your docs, related name, and they will basically tell you everything. I think I will just skip it for now and just do this. So basically it tells that you could on a team season model, if you'd like to find all the hosts from matches, you would actually all the matches from belonging to that season, you would then do like team season dot host, and that would provide all the matches. But as you can see, we have two fields pointing to the same one, so Django gets confused because it doesn't know which is the unique related name, and it expects one. So I think we can just skip it for now. We don't need this. So from team season we won't be asking matches, but maybe we'll see. So basically, one more time, when you have a team season object and you would like to get all the matches belonging to that team season, then you would call that object dot something, and at the moment that would be host and guest, and this is wrong because Django only needs one and wants one, and that's why it's saying us you should change related name at least on one of them, because I want to have one. So I guess in our case we can do this. We don't need it for now. So let's okay, my bad. Let's just tell Django that we don't want to use this related name at all. Whoopsie. Okay, so let's go back to our code here. Make migrations, should be fine now. Yep. And now migrate, and everything should be up and running. Matches. Yep, that's the same issue, ignoring that for now. And let's try to add a match. So we need a host, and probably what we could do is to do some validation, so we cannot, host and guest can't be the same teams or something like that, but not now. Let's make it today now, and here we go. And score, as you can see, everything is as we defined in our choices, and these three would be host win, and these would be guest win. We could make use of it later, but okay, let's see, 3 to 1. Let's save it, and match object is ugly. So what we can do is go to here and define string, and let's think what we can do in here. We could define two teams playing and maybe a score. So we can do this. We could make team 1, then team 2, team 1. Then we could pass a score. Not that, in brackets. And then we could pass another team. So in here we need self.host. In here we need self.guest. And in here we need a score. But if you do, I'll show you what happens if you make this. If think that won't be the prettiest one, because you still don't know what's going on in here. 2 doesn't mean anything because it's 1, 2. So instead, what I'm going to do is a bit tricky, because it's a special Django thing that when you have fields with choices, so and when you refer to that field directly, it will basically show DB representation, but we want this displayable representation, which means we have to do something else instead. We need to do get, then field name, score, display as a function. And what happens now is, if we go back to here, yep, so we have a guest, host, score, and guest. Okay, so let's see what else we have to do in here. I think that's all. We covered all models I had in my head, but probably it's still missing something like this geo. But for now I think it's okay. Okay, let's save. I could leave it as it is now. I'll then commit. Auto slug field is not required in here because we don't need a slug in here. We can probably figure something out later. Let's just quickly go through models. Yeah, all imports used, all imports correct. Auto slug field. Yep, so only match doesn't use it. Okay, so as you can see, it's not the prettiest one, but for this tutorial is okay. We have created few models with migrated and registered them in admin panel. We're not interested in admin at all. I was just registering it to show you that everything works fine. Maybe in the next episode I could go more deeply into admin panel, but I just want to start doing the GraphQL as well, so I'll think about it. We can close that, or maybe a short episode about how to adjust these, maybe how to show what we need, some more data, like all these hidden fields, like created and added. Yep, I think that's it. Our models are up and running. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.